Here's a look at the tail of the tape for the Hawks and Knicks from the regular season. The rebounding advantage could be key for the Knicks with Karl Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson. New York won the season series 2-1 with Jalen Brunson averaging 29.3 points a game in the three contests against the Hawks. It is time now to go inside out as we welcome in SNY NBA insider Eamon Begley. And Ian, the Knicks have received plenty of bulletin board material lately for this series with not one player out of 146 picking them to win the championship. That poll, of course, conducted by The Athletic. So, Ian, why are the Knicks getting so little respect?
I don't know. Maybe it's due to a diluted Eastern Conference, but then again, you had Atlanta getting a vote over the Knicks. So maybe it's just an anti-New York thing from the players who were polled. But I don't think this Knicks team needs any more motivation going into this playoff series. You know, there's a lot of pressure internally to get a deep playoff run going, and obviously it starts with the first round. You can't take these Hawks lightly. I think the Knicks know that. So I think they're sharply focused here going into Game 1 Saturday, regardless of whatever polls say, whatever quotes are said, anything like that. I think the motivation's already there.
All right, we'll get to the internal pressure in just a moment, but as you just said, Atlanta cannot be taken lightly. So what do the Hawks do well that could cause problems for the Knicks in this series?
Yeah, one thing I'm keeping an eye on, Eamon, it's Jalen Johnson and it's Nickeil Alexander-Walker. And Jalen Johnson in particular just rebounding the ball really well. I think he was number 3 in defensive rebounds overall, which is really impressive for a player at his position. And he gets the ball and he goes. And Atlanta does really well in transition. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, I think, finished number 3 in the league. Transition points, and Jalen Johnson was right behind him. I believe he was number 5 or number 6. So this is a dangerous team when they get out and run, when Johnson gets the rebounds and goes. And so the Knicks, they've been kind of hit or miss, up and down with their transition defense. I know they've shored things up of late, but Atlanta's going to put a lot of pressure on them, and starting with Jalen Johnson once he gets a rebound and gets a full head of steam.
And both of those guys had big games against the Knicks in the regular season. And now let's get to that internal pressure, because, Ian, it seemed last year every time we spoke, every series was a referendum on Tom Thibodeau. So do you think this year's postseason will be a referendum on the decision to fire Tibbs and replace him with Mike Brown?
Without a doubt. I mean, this is where Mike Brown, you know, I don't want to say earns his money. I think that's silly, but this is where he's graded ultimately. You know, the regular season was a success. He's got the team going in a good direction going into the playoffs. But Tom Thibodeau, the aforementioned head coach, he took the Knicks to the conference finals, first time in 25 years. And then when you make the move they made, firing Thibodeau, going with Mike Brown, and saying you're singularly focused on a championship, Mike Brown's got to reach the conference finals, has to reach the finals, really. If you listen to owner James Dolan on a radio interview earlier this season, saying that he expects the club to make the finals and to win the finals. So the bar could not be higher for Mike Brown. It's a result of what happened last season. And yeah, no one's going to remember 53 wins if this team flames out early in the playoffs.
Plenty of pressure on Mike Brown, obviously, and we'll have much more on this matchup before they tip it off on Saturday night. Eamon Begley, thanks for joining us here on Honda Sports Night.